guys, what is up? Welcome back to a new video. So this week we are digging into the STI finally for the last little bit. So I've been daily driving the Beamer just to make sure that mechanically it's up to par and it's solid. I mean, this car is great. So I do know mechanically it's good. I still want to do some like spark plugs and start throwing on all the performance stuff, you know, doing coilovers, welding the diff, you know, this, that, whatever. But the STI, the turbo seals have seen some better days. So got a rebuild kit. This was $15 off of eBay after I used my $15 off, so it's supposed to be 30 bucks, 15, whatever. If all goes wrong, I can just buy a new turbo. I've never fully torn apart a turbo, so this one's gonna be very interesting. But time to get the STI solid to run for my daily again for a little while, so then I can start tearing apart the Beamer. So let's get into it. Just getting into it. Who decides to show up? The boy Mikey decides to show up. Look at this guy. Look at this dude. Look at this dude.
What's going on, guy?
Say what's up. Y'all know the deal, so let's start by getting this intercooler off. Really gotta invest in power tools. I always gotta use the halfer because I lost the extension or the deep 12 on my 1/4 inch.
Hey guys, welcome back to How to Build a Race Car 101.
Alright guys, so now I'm just working at getting the downpipe off. I'm gonna get these top ones, raise the car up, get the bottom two, get the whole downpipe just up out of the way, and then I'll be able to reach the up pipe bolts from the top. And I can remove the up pipe. I'm just gonna loosen it out, get out of the way, and take this bracket off. You can see, so I'll have the downpipe, up pipe disconnected, and then I just got to work on some of the lines here. There should be 3 lines total, I believe: oil return, coolant, and the just air pressure for the boost controller. So I'm just gonna work at this and see where we're at. Alright guys, so real quick, I'm just going to lift the car up, get underneath, drop those 2 rear bolts, drop the last bottom one underneath, and then I'll start on the up pipe. So I'm just going to do that real quick, and I'll catch you guys when I have the up pipe going. Alright, yo, so I got the down pipe off, so now I'm going to be working on the up pipe. I might switch over to manual filming instead of the tripod and let Mikey or Pay do some filming for me so you can see what I'm dealing with. But work on the up pipe bolts right now, work on the bracket, and then all the feed lines. So right now I'm just removing the intake from the turbo, and then I've got 1, 2, 3 lines it looks like, and then the turbo should be able to come out. I don't know, I don't believe there's any brackets holding it on low or down. So I'm just gonna start kind of wiggling all this away, and we'll kind of see where we're getting to. These little lines here are gonna be pretty easy since they're for the boost controller. I can pinch that just with my hand and slide it off. So like, almost, just like that. So now the boost controller is disconnected. Got that. So that just came off this front part. Got the banjo bolt there, and this little intake arm. Alright guys, so I got all the lines off, just kind of getting some stuff out of the way. I might have to go down below and loosen up the up pipe. Might just be in the way just a little bit too much, but just leaking coolant here and there. Got all the oil lines taken care of. Just like I said, getting everything out of the way so we can get this turbo removed.
resort to.
Yeah, you got the camera?
Yeah.
Are you filming?
Yeah.
Alright guys, so unfortunately,
B.
unfortunately there is a line that is connected to the bottom of the turbo, and the only way to reach it is by taking the up pipe out, and if you're a Subaru owner like me, you know that.
You got it?
Yeah, I'm good. The only way to get the up pipe out is to drop the headers. And if you've like to do budget builds like I do, you've taken these headers off probably about 50 times on multiple different Subarus, because I like to cheap out on my up pipes. And well, this might be difficult now because the turbo's up there, but it's not a fun process. But they're off. The up pipe's coming out in just a second, and then the turbo will be free.
Yeah, I think there's a time where Jared had his Rex. We had his headers off maybe what? In a single day we had them off, gosh.
I don't know, it was probably 5 times.
5 times. Just, I think we became like the fastest guys to put on headers for a Subaru.
The only real reason why it ended up happening was because I bought some spring-loaded headers that were supposed to be nice and neat, but they didn't come with spots for springs, so I resorted to welding them together. After welding them together, didn't weld them fully together because I'm not a great welder, and then once I got them up and ready to go, figured out the up pipe didn't fit with the headers that I had. It was a 3-bolt, not a 2-bolt, so then they came back off. The old one went back up. Found another up pipe. Tried that one. It was a mess, but we're moving on to bigger and better things finally. So what is up, guys? We finally got the HI turbo out. The play is not terrible. I feel like I remember being more, like there being more. But like if you look in here in the housing, you see that little gap in between the wall. Push down, you can almost get it to touch. So if you got stuff going on, like there is some play in here. It's hard. It's really hard to tell on camera. But now this is the fun part. Get to take the wastegate off, get this housing removed, and then we can start digging down to these internals. I'm probably going to soak this hot side in some PB Blaster because I doubt it's going to come off initially. So got some old Torx heads. Good thing I got a Beamer now, so I'm full of Torx. But yeah, this is your standard STI turbo. It's a little baby, but it's still bigger than the WRXs. I don't know if you can see, I got a bunch of coolant on my glasses.
It's a baby compared to mine, though. Just saying.
It is a baby compared to his. If you got his WRX, this is like a KO1. So we're gonna probably just clean up a little bit because I don't know if I'll be able to get to this right this second. But I'll catch you guys when I start tearing it apart. All right, guys, day 2 here. We are now going to tear apart the turbo the rest of the way. So the big one is we're going to have to make sure that we clock this correctly. A lot of people say not too tighten these down when you're putting it back together so you can get it in the car and get everything lined up. But thankfully the wastegate on this really helps shows us where the clocking is supposed to be. So I'm just going to go ahead and make sure I got all the tools that I need and I can start clocking this, or start tearing this apart and get to it. So this is where the process is going to start getting very tedious. So a lot of small important parts. This is the snap ring for the wastegate actuator. So I'm going to start by first taking the wastegate bracket off, get this up out of the way, and start tearing into it. this part. So this is the internal. You got your journal bearing right here. Flip this side, you got this cover. There's a little lock washer in there, another journal bearing, and then down in the very center, so you barely see it in the middle there, there's another little setup that you have to make sure. I don't know if you'll be able to see in here. When you're looking in here, see if I can get light in there. There's a hole that goes all the way in. You have to try to match it up with that. So I'm just working at trying to get all of this apart so I can replace it with the new stuff that I got. But so far, got the cold side, got the hot side, got the cold side cover, got down in this little corner, got the wastegate, got all the little extra pieces that are needed. And you know, it hasn't been terrible, but now it's trying to get to this part. So I'll catch you guys when I get into this. Alright guys, so I'm running to Advanced AutoZone, or Advanced Autos, real quick to grab some high temp silicone gasket maker. So putting the turbine cool side housing back on, you do need a gasket maker for it. I was kind of confused when I was tearing it apart, seeing the old gasket on there. It just wasn't making sense to me. So fortunately, I'm running there real quick. And sorry this has turned into a non-how-to rebuild your turbo. It is, it's not necessarily a hard process. It's just a tedious and long and kind of confusing process. And of course, the rebuild kit that I got doesn't have exact fitting parts. So I'm using the ones that are working. And the big one is the oil seal is going to be replaced, and a lot of the gaskets and bolts are going to be replaced. So we'll see if it turns out to be what I was anticipating, but just hopefully it gets the STI back onto the road, so then I can indeed start working on the beamer. All right guys, sorry this turned into the not how-to I wanted to give you, but it's fully assembled. The turbine, it spins. There's not any shaft play. Turbine might be a little too tight. We'll see when it's in the car how much boost it's actually making. But it's all together. Not going to give you guys the how-to because I didn't even know how to. So now it's just going to be time to reassemble everything. Hey guys, so unfortunately it's a couple days later. I'm now going to try to do my best to put this in before it gets too dark. One of my great buddies came back from Korea. He's been in the Army and he's been out there for the last year. So he came in and surprised me on Sunday when I was finishing the rebuild on this. So obviously plans changed. I was not ready for him to come home, so this got completely put in the back burner. And it's now getting dark, and I'm going to try to bust my ass and try to get this thing back together for you guys. All right, guys, got the turbo back in. I'm just going to hook up that line after I eat dinner. Got the drain back on. That's the hard one to get to. It's right up under there. You won't be able to see it. Now that I got that on, up pipe's going to go back on. That's going to mount the location of the turbo because the header's up pipe. That's all stationary. So I'm going to get to that in just a second. All right, so quick little update. I have the turbo on. I have the oil feed lines, the oil feed line connected, the two coolant hoses connected. Got both of the vacuum lines connected. I have the headers back on, the up pipe back on, the O2 sensor back in. So left now is going to be the coupler on the front of the turbo, the intercooler mount bracket. Intercooler should be everything on the turbo now. Got all the lines fully connected. I wanted to do that now before I went inside so I wouldn't forget any tomorrow. Then the downpipe and the intercooler, and we should be boosting. All right guys, so today is Thursday, the day before this video goes live, so I gotta get boogieing. You guys know where I left off. Turbo, got a couple things. I'm just gonna double check all the lines. Downpipe, bracket, intercooler should be good to go, so I'm gonna get going on it. All right guys, so this is that special guest I was talking about. This is our buddy Noah. He's the one that's been in the Army, and that's his ST. He drove that here from New Hampshire. That car's now lived on its East Coast for most of its life, but he's gonna do the kind favor of filming this thing while it starts up, and hopefully I'm not spewing oil all over. Let's see. Imagine it's dead because it's been sitting.
I'd laugh.
I'm gonna take the fuel pump relay out real quick so I can get oil back into it.
Okay.
I almost forgot. too shabby. Well guys, so hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Sorry it did not turn out to what I was anticipating it to be, but look at this, we are not smoking. And last weekend we were dumping some white smoke on startup, so that's a great sign. We'll see. I want to send this thing to work tomorrow, hope for the best. I'm just gonna have to bleed some coolant a little bit later, but other than that, we'll catch you guys next week. Peace.